What's good, people? Welcome to another episode of Quality Over Quarantine. Even though none of us are quarantining, we just be out in these strizzies doing whatever we're doing. It's Friday, man. It's feeling good. Today, you know what, actually, I gotta lower the tone, man. I gotta be a bit more chilled because we got Abby Power and her voice is can't even explain. It's like silk. So I can't really be, my normal shouty self as I introduce the one and only Abby Power. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for that. It's a nice introduction.
It's just one of them things, man. Every time I listen to your music, that's the first thing I get is your voice is just super chilled,
Yeah.
like
Thank you.
effortless sounding,
Thank
which is
you.
like a real contrast to me. I'd be screaming all over tracks and
Yeah.
shouting.
Yeah, I'm a little bit I don't have that much energy when it comes to hype music. I like the kind of laid back kind of thing. It matches my personality, man. Sometimes
Yeah,
I'm too laid back, I'm lying down, but
I like it though. I think it really works with the style of music that you do, and just what
mm,
you're saying in your music. But I don't want to get to that yet. I want to kind of go back here. This is like a conversation, the story, how it all started. So
mhm.
how did it start for you?
So it started when every time I have an interview, I always seem to get the age wrong by about 1 year, but I'll just stick to around the same time. So around 15, 16, I'll say 14, 15
Okay.
actually. I started watching Def Jam poetry slams on YouTube. So I got really into it. I was watching Mos Def do it, Kanye was doing it, Sheehan the poet was doing it, and I was like, oh my God, this stuff is amazing. Like I really liked the whole energy and what they were doing. So I was like, okay, let me try and write some poetry like that.
Mm.
So I started writing some poetry, and then I was kind of keeping it to myself, and I was like, let me share it with my friends. So I started sharing it with my friends. Every time I wrote a new poem, I'd send it out to the same couple of people. And they were like, you know what, you should try and turn this into music. And I never really thought about it like that. I just wanted to write poems because I
Right.
thought it was cool. And then I was like, all right, cool. So I started looking at beats on YouTube, playing all the old stuff, some old Mob Deep or
Seeing.
some De La Soul, just anything from the old school. And I was like, okay, anything that I could kind of vibe on. And I was like, okay. So I started writing to them, and then it just kind of went from there. I just started writing. I found myself sat at my computer as a teenager every single night, like just writing. I used to write like three, four songs a
Yeah.
night, and I don't even know now, looking back, if they're any good. But I was on it. I was just writing all the
So what
time,
were
and
you what were you writing about at that age, or what was the kind of topics you were touching?
you know what? I feel like it was always really kind of conscious stuff.
Okay.
Like it was never really like it wasn't ever hype music. It wasn't
Mm.
ever kind of like I'm the biggest, baddest rapper. It was always kind of talking about just real life stuff that I
Yeah.
was going through. And as a child, you're not gonna have experienced that much,
Mm.
obviously. I was only a teenager, so it could only go so far.
Yeah.
But I remember I did a remix to a song by a guy called Mr. Liff,
Yeah.
and I found a song on one of the old Tony Hawk games,
Right.
and it was called I Phantom. And I remember I loved the beat so much, and I did my own remix to it, and it eventually went into a mixtape I did. And it was just about politics and like the
Okay.
world and how it's so kind of just, a bad mind world that we live in. So I
Yeah.
was writing about that kind of stuff as well. So yeah,
That's cold. So where did you grow up?
Harrow.
Harrow. Big up Harrow.
Mm.
Big up H Town. Actually, is it called H Town? No, it can't be called H Town.
HA free. I'm HA free.
Yeah. See. So what
Mm.
was it like growing up Harrow in that
Harrow was
time?
alright, like I mean, it's got some bad press recently, but Harrow
Mm.
wasn't that bad growing up. It's alright. Like I was in the Harrow Weald, like Wealdstone kind
Yeah.
of area. But yeah, I just used to grow up playing football outside my house, like kicking the football up against the no ball games sign on someone's house. But it was always I used to just come home from
Yeah.
school, have my dinner quickly, run outside and just play
What school
football,
do you go
man.
to?
It's just and then I went. It was a Catholic primary school, so it's St. Teresa's,
Okay.
and it was a Catholic high school, Sacred Heart in Wealdstone,
Yeah.
but it was an all-girls school
Yeah,
and that.
yeah, yeah.
So
I know Sacred
yeah.
Heart. I know Sacred Heart. Um, it's mad actually because so obviously now I work in Harrow, and Harrow now is like mad. Like people getting shot
Crazy.
so regularly now. Um, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand how Harrow used to be back in the day. Like it used to be quite a nice area, or not a nice area, but it was like, it wasn't
Nicer.
yeah, it was nice. Like it wasn't dangerous. It's always had its problems, but it just seems like now it's kind of going. Don't know, man. Now it's a bit
It's a lot
mad.
of violence. It's a lot of violence. Like we used to always have fights and stuff. Don't get me wrong, we
Yeah.
weren't like innocent, but they were fist fights.
Yeah.
We used to have fist fights. We used to meet in Box Tree Park after school in Harrowell. All kinds of schools used to come together and just beat the shit out of each
I
other.
swear they still do that.
It was fine. Like no one got hurt to the extent that no one was being stabbed, no one was being shot. You were just punching each other up, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Like, but now, it's taking a bit of a turn.
So, you started writing. You're writing lyrics. When did you start taking music seriously to the point where you thought, "Oh, this might be something more than just a hobby"?
I think it was when I went to college. So I initially wanted to do a media course in college until I went to view it. I went to West Herts in Watford. So I went on the viewing day and I saw the studios. They were just built. They were just brand new built, I think, that year. And I went to the music section. I was like, hold on. No, I don't think I want to do media. I was like, look at this. I was like, I just saw all of the equipment. And I was like, you know what? It is media in a sense. And I'm already writing lyrics and doing that stuff like for myself at home. So why not, go that direction? I was signed up for that course. And then I met some amazing people that I still work with today on that course, such as my producer Sam. I met Renee Soul, SJ Reed, lots of really talented producers and stuff.
Wait, Sam made from Watford, is he?
Yeah,
Where's Sam from? He's not from Watford, is he? Is Sam?
Sam is from Watford, yeah.
Is he?
Not originally, but he is now.
What? This guy lives like round the corner from me, and he's got these 5 beats, and I'm not having all of them. Nah, it's not happening anymore. I'm switching it up, man. He sent me something the other day. Actually, he was super cold, but
I think I saw that on Twitter. He sent you something that
it's cold, but like again, I don't want to fast forward too much, but just a little the production on your last project is like, it's just nuts, man. It's just super nuts. But we'll get to that. So so again, so that's the point. Being at college is when you decided, okay, cool, this music thing might be for real.
Yeah.
So then what was?
Because I'm surrounded by people that love it, and they, they are already passionate. They already have it in their mind. This is what they want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas I was kind of on the fence and kind of dipping my toe in the water, seeing how I felt about it. And then once I was kind of in the environment where all these guys are there making music, talking about music, saying about all the things they want to do, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and we just all got to work in, and the rest is history. That's
cold. What was so what was the steps after that? So as far as like putting music out, you had a situation where you were working with a label, I believe.
Yeah. So with the label, so again, I don't know with ages, because I always seem to get it off when I look at the different interviews I've done, but around kind of 17, 18, I was approached by an indie label called Vintage State. And then first of all, it was only to do a photo shoot for them because they had a clothing line. Okay. So I went and did the photo shoot for them. And then after a couple of conversations, they were like, you know what, we're going to start, because the label was only just starting. So they wanted to sign me on as one of the first artists. And I was like, you know what, cool. It'd be good to have some backing and a little bit of support, because all I hear is how expensive everything is. So I was like, you know what, cool. All right, let's do this. So I signed a contract with them, and I think I was signed to them for about 3 years, maybe 3 years. But yeah, I mean, we parted ways amicably, so it wasn't like it was a big situation, there wasn't lawsuits and all that stuff. So
how did you feel working with a label? Did you feel it was beneficial for you at the time? And what would your advice be to younger artists looking to sign with smaller labels?
I would say there was benefits in the sense that obviously I had a lot of music videos that they funded that I personally wouldn't have been able to fund. I was still a kid. I hadn't even got my first job at that point. I was 17, 18. So in the sense that, you'll probably get financial backing that way is great, but doing it now independently is so much more freedom. You don't have to answer to anyone. You don't have to, ask for permission when you can release something, or what they think, or ask them to speak to someone for you because you can't go directly to. it's just having the power to do everything yourself is so much better. The only thing I miss is obviously it was great, the financial backing,
Yeah.
but it is what it is, man. Like, but what I would say to people up and coming, I would just encourage anyone to try and do it as independent as possible,
Yeah.
because we have so many different platforms and channels and all kinds of ways to promote your music and release music and stuff now that wasn't necessarily around back in the day. There's no reason for anyone to kind of, I believe, to maybe go to a label. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't
It's a
really.
funny thing. I guess it's like it kind of depends on your situation and depends on how confident you feel about putting music out independently.
Yeah.
This last project you did, that was independent, right?
Yeah.
Cool. How did
This
that?
one just dropped
Yeah,
now.
just dropped. Yeah.
Yeah, that's independent. Yeah.
How did that come about, and how long were you working on that for? Actually, wait, I can't even go to that because you had a break as well, didn't you? Before you
I did.
you kind of had a break from music. Why
Yeah.
did you have a break, and what were you doing in that break? And what made you come back as well?
I had it. So yeah, I did have a break. It was about 5, 6 years. Again, I'm saying a rough time scale because I don't want to get the times wrong, but there was just a lot going on. So I'd left the label, and then I was working with a couple of people that just weren't kind of on the same wavelength as I was in terms of releases and that kind of thing. It got a little bit political, and it got to the point where so many things had happened in such a short space of time. It kind of just it made me not want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pack it in. I'm gonna get a day job and live the normal 9 to 5 life, and just because I don't need the stress right now, let me just focus on something different for a little bit. Because when you love something that much, and to have it kind of, I don't know, to have something negative surrounding it, it's just it hurts. It hurts a lot. So you just kind of have to walk away from the whole situation before it just crushes you, I guess. But in terms of what made me come back, I mean, I had one song that I recorded with my boy Arjun. I did it last February 2020. So I was slowly kind of creeping back, seeing, like, again, dipping my toe in the water, seeing if I wanted to. But then as soon as COVID kind of hit, I was sat there and I was thinking, I'm sitting at home. Obviously, I worked all throughout COVID. Like, I haven't stopped working since I've been working from home.
Yeah.
But still, you have a lot of time to think when you're in the same four walls the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm watching everyone doing all these things, making music, making the most of lockdown, and I'm just like, I really want to be a part of this. I just, because I got so much to say, and I hadn't written, I'd probably written one song in about 5 years at that point, and I was like, you know what, let me see what's going on. One of my friends was running a competition called The Great Escape, so it was like a rap competition, and he reached out to me. He was like, look, like, if you want to join the competition, we'd really like to kind of see you in there. And I was thinking about it for a couple of days. I don't usually do the live thing. Like, lives scare the shit out of me, and I don't usually do it. So I was like, but then I decided to record a video, and then it got into the next round, and then I started. So you have to do the video, and then you get through to the next round. Then you're kind of given who you're up against.
Right.
So like a tournament basically. So I got through. And then I went up against another guy, beat him. Went up against another guy, beat him. Got to the semi-final. That's where I got knocked out.
Same.
But where I'm doing all of this, it's getting me more and more exposure from new people, and it's got me writing again, because obviously they give you a subject, and you got a couple of days to come up with it, and obviously release the video. So it just got me into the mind frame again, and I was like, you know what, this is sick. Like, this is kind of what I need. I need to just vent. And then I just bought a setup. I spoke to you, I spoke to Sam, and I think I spoke to Courtney Bennett as well, all just getting advice. What's the best home setup? Tell me what laptop, tell me what microphone, everything. And as soon as I had the money, took the advice and bought it, and I just started recording, man.
A lot of people kind of say once they get their home studio, it changes everything. And for me, that was like the biggest thing, the biggest change. And it's funny as well, because again, at the time when I first got my home set up, like, I was broke, man. So like that money that I invested was like, it was a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
And but it's probably the biggest. It's by far the best investment. Like, it's paid for itself at least 2,000 times over. And I feel like one of the things a lot of artists are scared to do at first is just grab the mic, buy a laptop. And start doing stuff, because it seems a little bit intimidating. Like, I don't know how I'm going to mix it right and all that kind of stuff. But once you get the hang of it and you realize it's not that hard, you don't have to engineer it. You can send it to an engineer. It changes I guess, the consistency that you can release music, and again, that the momentum just feeds into what you're doing. Did you find it kind of a similar thing?
100%, 100%. Like, because before, obviously, I was going to my friend's house. I didn't ever like big studios. Like,
Mm,
I will say it to anyone, I don't like fancy studios. Like, I've been in them.
yeah.
Okay, the equipment's nice, but I don't care.
Mm,
Like, I don't. So I prefer going to people's houses. Like, I used to record in Sam's garage, and it used
yeah.
to be home to me. Like, I used to love that shit. So, but the problem with that is you need to rely on other people and when they're free, and then you
Yeah.
have to travel there. And by the time you've written the song, it's probably like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month before you
Mm,
get to record it. So the momentum is gone.
yeah.
But now that it's in my house, I write a song and I'm like, all right, just go record it then, shall I?
Yeah.
Like, and it's yeah. So I've just been rapid. Like the amount of music I've recorded since May is it's a lot. It's a lot.
And your the last the new album, that was
Hmm.
you recorded that yourself at home.
Yeah,
Okay.
so tracks 1 to 6 I recorded at home,
Yeah.
and then I met up with Sam for the first time in like 5, 6 years. Went to his house and his friend Hennessy, amazing guitarist like and producer.
Yeah.
They were both there. We kind of sat down. We're like, all right, what kind of song do you want to make today? And I was like, you know what kind of song I'm feeling? The song that we made doesn't sound anything like what this song is, but Mira May, Woman Like Me, was just in my head, and I just loved that song. I was like, you know what? Just find me something nice and chill that I can kind of vocalize.
Yeah.
Let's go with something, take inspiration from this. So we sat there and we were just making up the beat,
Mm,
and then literally they'd make one section of the beat, then as they were making the beat, I'd record, write what the verse was.
yeah.
I'd record that bit, and then we'd move on to the next bit, record that, and then by the end of it, we had The Light, which is track 7.
Yeah. Sick.
And yeah, as soon as Hennessy played the end guitar solo, I was like, oh my days, there's no way this isn't going on the tape. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was the only song that wasn't done in my bedroom, but it was
Okay.
still at Sam's house. So home is where the start is still applies.
It sounds really sick though, man. Like the vocal mix itself, everything. I was just like, yeah, this sounds cold. So
Thank you.
I guess we're at the album. So you decided to put that album together.
Hmm.
And how did that? What was the? Were you just in the vibe and just like, all right, let me just go, let me just put something out?
It wasn't supposed to be. So like we kind of I had track 1 that was produced by Sixth Floor, so Dreams. So I recorded that, and then I had a couple of ones that I had with Sam, and then I had one from White Boy Beats, which was Take Time, that was actually taken from a verse that I did in that competition. I
Oh, okay.
then made it into the song.
Oh, sick.
But and then I started to see that all these songs were coming together. I was like, hold on,
Mm.
like this is looking like a project. Like these are all nice things. And then me and Sam kind of put our heads together, and we were like, we should make an EP out of this. And I will put my hands up and say Sam had like a lot of creative direction for this,
Mm.
like the way that it kind of flowed. So amazingly, that is
Yeah.
all Sam. I'm not taking the credit for that whatsoever. I just put the lyrics and the vocals on there. Sam did all of the magic that you guys hear. So, but yeah, it started off with just singles, and then it just started to build into something that was something I wanted to release as a whole.
It's sick, man. I love. I guess like this year, there's been a few albums that have kind of not surprised me, but surprised me. I listened to it and been like, nah, this is. I expected it to be cold, but nah, this is super cold. And one of the, I guess the thing I really like about the album is it sounds like you really made an album for yourself. Like you were really just. It's not like a. How can I explain it? It's made. It's not. It doesn't sound like it's made with anyone else in mind. It's made like I love music. I'm gonna make some music.
Yeah.
And that
Hmm.
really comes across. Like even like the all the concepts. They're really like. I don't know, man. I can't explain it, man. They're just like they're so relatable.
Yeah.
And it's just like this. If you listen to this album, there's no way to not get to know you better because it's all
Yeah.
about you, and it's done in a really sick way. And the production, the way like if one track goes into another track here, I'm in. Like I love that
Yeah.
shit. Like, and I'm sitting there
Me
just
too.
like, wait. Did the next track just? Oh, that's what they're doing. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
love that, and the whole thing just flows so nicely. Even with the other producers
Yeah.
added to it, it still flows really nicely, and it's a really solid body of work, man.
Thank you, man. I'm really glad you said that it kind of came across as a project that was solely for me, because it is like, not that, of course it's for everyone to listen to and stuff, but it was kind of my way of saying, you know what, I took my time out, but this
Yeah.
is something that I'm really passionate about, and this is what I want to speak about. Take it
Yeah.
if you want. I'm not here to kind of, you know, I have no point to prove, as I
Yeah.
said in the ending track. I'm just here to do what I love doing, and yeah, I'm not here to beef people. I'm not here to fight people. I'm never gonna be one to kind of get involved in that stuff, because I'm not gonna allow negativity to come into the one thing that allows me to escape negativity. So yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sick, it's an amazing album. One of the things that you touch on, you're speaking about, kind of like the competition element of music and the hype element of music, and how you're just not involved in that. You're just like, nah, I'm just doing my thing. Where does that come
Yeah.
from? Has that always been your mindset in music, or is that something that over time, or coming back into the game and just really coming in? It's almost like you've gone away as a kid, you come back as an adult, and it's real adult music. It's like this. One of the things I love, is when a rapper is rapping but not about rapping, and they're actually just like showing you their life, and I feel like this album is that 100%. And it's how can I put it? A lot of times when you're a rapper, you almost become a caricature of what the scene is. So there's certain tropes that we fit in. This album doesn't fit in that at all. It's like, no, I'm a normal person and I'm rapping. Like, check it out. Where does that come from, and how did you get that? Because I feel like that's something that not a lot of people get till quite far in their careers, really, if they ever get it at all.
I mean, I kind of always had that kind of mind frame, even with my old stuff. Like, it was always conscious and always kind of calm music. Like My Thoughts, for example, you know, it was a conscious track. It was talking about real life and that kind of thing. But obviously at that stage, I couldn't really say too much because I hadn't experienced life yet. I've just come out of school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that I've kind of grown up, you know, in the time that I took away from music, I became an adult. I got engaged, you know, I did adult stuff. I have things to talk about now, but I've always been one to just stay away from the drama and the beef side of things, because it's just not for me, man. And I don't have a point to prove to you. Like, if you think you're better than me, okay. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm better than you. Like, your opinion is your opinion. I'm not here to be better than anyone. I'm here to just make my music. And that's just all I ever want to do. And in terms of kind of making it relatable and stuff, I work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not going to talk about going out and doing stuff I'm not doing.
Yeah.
I work a 9 to 5, and then I do my music when I'm not working. And there's so many people that do the same thing, and it's those guys that I'm trying to relate to, and, you know, let them know that, even touching on mental health and all that kind of stuff, like, I want to touch on things that the majority experience, not the minority of people that are in the spotlight, because they can only talk about what they experience. But me at home, I'm not experiencing that. So I you know, I just want to keep it real, man.
It's it, and that's the thing right there, keeping it real. It's like we've used this phrase so many times, and it's never really what it's supposed to be. Like you said, there's so many people that live that life, that work 9 to 5s and make music. But part of the problem is, for a lot of those, they're rapping about a life that they don't really live. But if only they would rap about the life they lived, then we could really relate, because there's so many, like, we don't really need to hear another In the Club track. Like,
we can't even go to the club.
Yeah,
right
like, so it's like, all right, yeah, we get it. It's cool. And, you know what I mean? There's a line you say about, I'm not rapping about money. And it's like, yeah, we don't need to hear, like, it's cool to, like, I'm a hypocrite. I rap about money. That's all I rap about is money and girls. But, like, it's like, again, it's my life, innit? But we don't really need it. The songs and it's funny as well, because even with me, the songs that really hit are the songs that are way more relatable, where I'm really talking about the intricacies of my life. They're the ones that people go, oh, okay, cool. Like, that's the ones that really connect to people. How do you see the scene, like, coming from not been in it. So when you weren't in it, were you still listening to music? Were you still following it as
Yeah,
close as you follow it now?
probably not as close as I am now, only because I didn't have the same need to be.
Right.
But yeah, I still definitely followed it, and I still kept an eye on the scene and stuff. And there's people that are coming up. Like the UK is doing crazy well. Like the
Mm,
artists, like when I was growing up, I didn't really listen to UK music.
mm,
Like, and a lot of people hate me for that. I'm sorry, but like I listened to garage,
yeah.
like, because my older brothers used to love UK garage, and I really enjoyed UK garage.
Yeah.
But US hip hop was what I was kind of raised on
Mm,
because of my older brother. And everyone has the Channel U days and
yeah.
stuff. I watched a couple videos, but I never really followed it the same way I did the US
Right.
music. But now I find myself having more UK artists on my playlist than the American ones,
Okay.
and I just love the whole vibe of it. Like the because I do like conscious music, but I also really like the kind of Afro beats kind of music as
Yeah.
well. Like I like feel good music at the
Yeah.
same time, and like I love people like Western. I
Mm,
love Young Bane, that kind of vibe.
mm,
Um, in terms of the conscious rappers and stuff, I'm not as good as I probably should be at following them,
yeah.
but I want to get into more music from the UK and stuff. But I just like the vibe that we're kind of bringing at the moment. It's different, and it's the Americans are watching us now instead of us watching
Yeah,
the
man.
Americans.
They're doing their own draw thing. I think the problem with the conscious rappers is the majority of them are fucking boring as fuck. So like, you don't like they're not. There's only so many times you can say fuck the government, and only so many
Yeah.
times you can say put the guns down, and it's like, all right, cool. But there's so many other. To me, there's so many other ways of making music that's like, I don't want to say the word conscious, but music that's not about killing. There's so many other subjects you can talk about and have fun with, and I feel like
Yeah.
for a little while there was a bit of a, especially in UK hip hop, it was just
Mhm.
like everyone banging on the same thing, and it's just like it's boring as hell,
Yeah.
man. Which is why the scene kind of died off the way it did, and then
Mhm.
the guys who were really having fun with it took over. Um,
Yeah.
so who would you say, like, influence wise, yeah, your music? There's no one I can say, especially not in hip hop, that I would be like, oh, you got this kind of style, you got this kind of flow. So who would you say are your influences in making music, the kind of music that you write and the way you perform?
That's a really tricky question because the answer changes every time I'm asked it.
Alright,
It depends on who I'm listening to, but
okay,
I just really enjoy, like, the people on my playlist. I say right now, I really love Kalani. Again,
cool.
it's not hip hop, but I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
the way that she sings and her kind of her vibe.
yeah,
And I love Riri. I love Rihanna.
yeah.
I love Coffee. I'm a massive fan of Coffee.
Coffee's
Absolutely
cold,
adore
man.
her music and her whole persona.
Yeah,
Just love it. But then you got people that I like from the UK, like Pastor Lou. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I don't know. There's something about this kid that I'm just drawn towards,
okay,
and it just makes incredible music. And it's hood music,
yeah,
but like my family is a big tune. Like, so I just take inspiration from anyone that once I hear the music, I'm like, hold on, that's cold. And my
yeah,
missus even loves my family, and she's not into music like that.
yeah,
But when it came on, she was like, my family. Like,
yeah,
it's, yeah, anything that makes me feel a type of way, I will just take inspiration from that. It doesn't matter what genre it is. I could
yeah,
care less. Like, yeah,
yeah. I
just
get that.
anything I like.
Because that's me, man. I'm all about vibes in it. It's like, what's the vibe? What vibe are you bringing? And I feel like the older I get, and the more I guess the more commercial my music becomes, vibe becomes way more important than almost anything else. Like,
Hmm.
more important than lyrics. It's what's the vibe of the song? Like, what vibe are we
Yeah.
bringing? How are people gonna how do you want people to receive it, receive the music? And when you were making this last album, Home Is Where the Start Is, how did you think people would receive what you were saying? Did you have that in your mind, like the idea of some of other people listening to it? Because I feel like a lot of it is like really personal as well.
Yeah.
So how did you how was that easy for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna say some stuff and there might be some opinions on it?
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't thinking about other people too much. The only song that I can say that I really wanted to put on there, because I knew that people were watching, is Take Time, because there isn't a lot of songs that kind of highlight lesbian relationships, I guess, or LGBTQ relationships in
Yeah.
hip hop. So I was like, it's really important, even if I have a very small platform at this stage,
Yeah.
that I'm representing kind of that side of things, because it's part of me as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of the other songs, it was more, that was all me. And if you liked listening to it, then amazing.
Yeah.
But same page, I did also kind of think that I wanted people to kind of hone in on that, because it's basically me just saying, like, we don't need to be foes in the same industry. Like, we can go studio and make a song, and we're both going to be winning from it. I don't want to fight you.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. I'm here to make music. If you are too, then cool. Let's collaborate.
Yeah. How did you, so growing up listening to hip hop and identifying as a lesbian, how did you and even in I guess if you're talking about the whole culture, the whole lifestyle, the whole I don't know, like, how did you find hip hop relating to you, and how did you relate to hip hop? Because hip hop has been for a long time notoriously homophobic, and even not even like kind of directly like, yo, we're trying to be homophobic, but just in such a casual way, like it's just accepted, this is what we do, we're not taking it seriously. So how did you find that, especially like growing up listening to the music?
I mean, I didn't actually even come out until I was like 21.
Okay.
So it was really late before I even discovered myself on
Right.
that. Obviously, I knew, I had an inkling, like you always know that you're gay or you're straight, but I hadn't really come out until I was about 21, 22. But in terms of like with the hip hop and stuff, I don't know, you kind of have to just take it with a pinch of salt, obviously, because it's the same as bashment, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's the culture, and as much as I think it's awful that they think that way, I can't really. I can berate someone for having that mind frame, of course, but it is what it is sometimes, man. Like it's just the culture, and if that's how people want to view it, that's fine. But I'm going to take what I want from not take from the culture, but I'm going to take my inspiration and then make it for the people that are accepting of everyone. So
I have a weird question. So we have a lot of female gay rappers in the scene, out open, doing their thing, killing it. Why are the guys, or why aren't there so many openly gay male rappers? Why do you think that is? And do you think it's down to just the pushback of the scene? Because there have been a few cold gay rappers, but for some reason it's
Mr.
kind of
Strange as well.
Mr.
Strange is definitely
he is cold. I hit him up actually a little while ago, man. I was like, bro, listen, if you want to do a track, shout me. Like he's sick, man. But like, we have this thing where they kind of come out and the buzz is there for a little bit. There's a little bit of backlash, and then it kind of dies out. Like, why do you think that happened?
Yeah. Well, I feel like lesbians are probably more accepted than gay men. Firstly, because I say we're, but lesbians, girl on girl, that's a fantasy to men, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's not the same for them. They're not going to fantasize about men on men, so they're going to automatically think, oh, that's wrong. That's not okay. But because we're girls, they just think girl on girl, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's more accepted because they don't take it seriously, I guess. But with the males, they don't want to see it. With the women, they encourage it. They watch whatever they type in Pornhub. There's probably girl on girl, but like they don't want to see the male side of it. And obviously, there's a lot of pushback. It's a lot harder to be a gay rapper than it is a lesbian rapper. 1,000%. Do you think it will ever change? I guess we've kind of seen certain. I saw these guys the other day, man. They're American though. I can't remember what the track was called. The track was cold, and I was like, I wonder if this is like start. This is going to be the turn. This is where it all kind of changes around. But I guess things are happening very, very slowly. But do you think it's something that we will have? I guess within the next like
5-10 years?
I think so, because if you think where we were 10 years ago to
Yeah,
where we are now,
yeah,
we've come so far as it is, even 30 years ago to now.
yeah.
Wow,
Flipping
like
out.
it's crazy. And we've got people coming out slowly, as you said, like Little Nas X and all that kind of
Yeah, yeah,
stuff. And as much as they're not kind of the big kind of rappers that they're not rappers that you listen to for lyrics, they're more for the vibe and a good
yeah,
time. But 100%, I think that in 5-10 years time, people are just going to feel more comfortable and be able to just be themselves
yeah,
and maybe be exactly like I am and not give a fuck what anyone else
yeah.
says and just make your music. And then people are going to just be drawn to it, and
Mm.
then you'll get big off the back of that, I guess. But yeah, I definitely think that in 5-10 years it's going to be a lot more progressed than it is now.
When you talk about being an artist who just doesn't give a fuck and just does your thing, regardless of like who you are, um,
Hmm.
do you feel like the scene, like nowadays, the scene is set up in a way where being yourself is easier than it's ever been before because you are making your music and it's direct to consumer. So again, you're cutting out
Yeah.
the middleman. Have you found that process of being able to just make your music and get it to the people? Have you found that a more, I guess, more fulfilling process than having to go through labels or go through other people?
Yeah, because like you like the music, so you release it,
Yeah,
and whoever listens to it is going to listen to it. But with the label, is you make the music, I like the music, I'm going to send it to you, and you're going to tell me that you don't like it, you prefer this one, or you want
yeah,
me to do this, that, and whatever else on it, because it will appeal to that guy over there. Like, but yeah, it's so much better now that I'm just like, look, I'm going to release it, and whoever likes it, likes it. And
yeah,
if you don't like it, it's okay. I've got a next one coming out next month.
yeah.
Try that one. Like, but yeah, definitely.
It's funny because my process now, it always kind of goes, it's very similar. So it's like the song will be made, it will be sent to different labels and A&Rs. They'll all give their input, and I'll tell them all to fuck off and put it out anyway. Like, so like it literally makes no difference. Even
Yeah.
the track I'm about to put out next Friday, like that was sent to the labels. They loved it, but some of them were like, oh, you should maybe try this, or maybe have like a female singer, and I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, good. Like
Yeah.
it's such a freeing position to be able to just go, nah, I'm good. Like, thank you for your input, but
Yeah.
you're not me. And if you were me, you'd be
Yeah.
amazing, but you're not. So fuck off. Like, it's a, I mean, it's a good.
And the input is always from people that don't actually make music themselves.
It's tough.
It's like you're not an artist, so I know you know about the business, but do you know about art?
It's really like, and I try to be. I actually like full disclosure on being honest. When it comes to A&Rs, yeah, especially A&Rs, I know most of them don't really make music, but I try to go, that's your profession. So like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't, let's say I can cook, but say I couldn't cook, yeah, I could still tell you, yeah, what good chicken wings taste like. So I
Yeah.
kind of try to go, yeah, all right, you know what wings taste like, so maybe you can give me some input. But there's still such, I'm a really hard person. I'm too set in my ways, basically. So, and I've had, I don't know, I've had too much success doing what I do. And it's almost like a curse, because it's like, I can always go, yeah, well, I did this, I did that, I did this without you. So what have you done? And a lot of times they're saying, yeah, but you could do more. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'd rather just fail by myself rather than have you jump in. As far as like an artist, when it comes to you making the decisions of how your music should sound, you seem to have quite, or do you have like a strong idea on the kind of artist you are and the kind of music that you want to make, like the kind of message that you want to push out there?
In terms of the kind of music I want to make, not a clue. Literally,
Same.
I will make whatever I kind of hear, like, because I've been trying, because I love I grew up listening to some rock music.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a massive Avril Lavigne fangirl when I was a kid. I loved Guns N' Roses and stuff, love Slash to this day. So now that I can kind of work with producers such as Sam and Hennessy that can produce music that incorporates that love of kind of alt rock and that kind of stuff into my hip hop,
Yeah.
I'm doing it a lot more, and it's something that I'm trying to mold into my sound, yes. But then I will make a song like Chargy that sounds like a kind of clubby song,
Yeah.
and you know, it'll work that way too. So it just all depends on the beat, man. Like
Yeah.
literally, I'll make anything. I'll make anything as long as it's something that I feel like I can write to
Yeah.
and get inspiration from.
On like, obviously
So
you're a rapper, you rap, but you also sing quite a lot as well, yeah. So is
yeah.
that something you're gonna kind of go into more, because you have a really good singing voice? And I'm always like, whenever I hear a rapper who can sing, I'm always like, man, why the hell do you rap, man? If I could sing, yeah, I would just sing. Like, I would not. If I could sing, if I was Drake, yeah, you would not hear
Yeah.
one rap bar from me. I would be singing my ass
Yeah.
off. That's all I would be doing. So yeah, is that something you're gonna do more of, like more full singing songs?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that I'm like the perfect singer or whatever. I know my limits. Like, as I said in the interview before, if I can't hit the note, I scrap the note. I'm not gonna try and be something that I'm not, or do something I can't physically do.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna have someone put auto-tune on my voice to make it sound like I did do it, because I didn't. So yeah, I'd like to sing more, and I try and incorporate as much singing as I possibly can into songs, because I actually really enjoy singing and the process of recording singing more than I do rapping.
See.
I really enjoy writing rap music,
Yeah.
or rap bars, but when it comes to actually recording, I much prefer the process of singing. It's just, I don't know why, it's just fun. So I definitely I'm gonna try incorporate more singing. And my mum loves the songs where I'm singing most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, I try. Sometimes I'm recording a song or I'm writing a song and I'm like, you know what, my mum will love this song because there's barely any rapping in it. So yeah, man.
You got to do it for mumsy, man. You got to keep mummy happy, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My biggest fan. Gotta keep her happy, man.
That's deep, man. That's deep. So what do you have planned for the like the immediate future? Are you working on another project, a follow up? What's the what we talking about?
So I'm gonna try and release music every single month for as long as I possibly can.
Sick.
Yeah, and I've been doing so since July. So I've been doing all right so far. I haven't missed a month. So I've got a new single dropping next Friday called Glass House, and it's produced by Sam.
Sick.
And then I've got loads of stuff kind of just waiting.
Yeah.
Excuse me. To just drop in terms of singles and stuff every single month. So I just need to pick what ones I want to release on what month. But we accidentally started another project the other day.
Okay.
Because I'm working with, so Sam and Hennessy created a new kind of lo-fi hip hop producing group called Francis the Mute.
Right.
And they sent me a couple of instrumentals over. And I was like, fuck's sake, like, this is insane. So I recorded 2 tracks on that. And then Sam was like, you should do an EP. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, and then, yeah, so we're going to probably do a little 4-track project kind of to release the start of the new year. It's going to be kind of lo-fi hip hop meets kind of the alt rock, new school Abbey Power. It's going to be nice. But I'm going to keep it consistent as much as possible.
What was the thinking behind the strategy of releasing 1 track a month rather than a full body, like straight off the back?
Because you need to give people a taste of what it is coming for the project. Like, I can't just, I could have easily done the project and that was the first thing that I released. But I've not been in the game for 5 years. So I can't just come in and be like, you know, here you go, here's a project and expect it to get a good reception. So I needed to show people what I was actually capable of and make them, you know, keep their eye on me and then release the projects and be like, here you go, this is what I've been working on. But yeah, I just didn't want to release a project straight off the back because I need people to understand my music and like my music and follow my music and what the journey is, and then see, you know, the body of work when it's out. But I think that releasing a single every single month, and they're different kinds of singles as well, I try and keep them kind of varied. It just shows kind of what it is I'm capable of and, you know, the kind of music that I make. So, and when the projects do come out, it will get a better reception.
Yeah. How have you, so, because that's funny, because I'm on the same schedule as you, pretty much. I think mine is every 6 weeks, so slightly a little bit longer. And my thinking behind that is, I want to give each project more time. So rather than putting all the effort into an album, I want to give all the effort into one song. And so far it's been going okay. How have you found it, and how, how hard has it been trying to get traction for each song? I guess that's the bit that a lot of artists, including myself, struggle with, is having a song. You might have one song that does really well, then the next song doesn't do as well, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
How does that not, like, it was literally, I just gave you the same thing, and then the next one works really well, then you might have a song that you're just like, and then people just go crazy over it. So how have you found trying to build traction?
I mean, yeah, definitely with so many releases so often, it is hard to kind of, because so many people release one thing in a couple of months and put all their promo into that. But if I'm releasing something every month, I'm just in your face all the time if I'm promoing all the time. And I don't want to be in people's faces either all the time. But I think it's been all right. I mean, I don't know how the hell I managed to kind of get to where I am even now in the last couple of months in terms of how many people are listening to my stuff. And the EP managed to get on the Amazon hip hop charts. And
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't understand how that happened. I don't know how or why or who made it happen, but it happened. And I guess that's just off of the back of releasing the music that I was releasing for the past couple of months and just building up that fan base. But yeah, you do notice some singles get more reception than the other one. Like the one we had with Courtney Bennett, you know, that was put on SB and everything, so it got a lot of traction. And then I think the one I released after that, I can't even remember the one I released after that, but it kind of quietened down a little bit. It was still getting traction, but quietened down a little bit. And then I released another one that got a little bit more hype, and then the project came out, and then it just went nuts. So yeah, it's just weird. I don't know.
I don't think you should ever worry about being in people's faces. I think, especially because people will pay attention when they want to pay attention, and my thing is always, when you decide you want to pay attention, I will be there. And I also don't believe in this idea of oversaturating the market, especially in this day and age. I think maybe in the past that might have been a thing, but now, because there's so much noise, there's so many artists, everybody's doing it. And the only time, a lot of times, I've got things because I was there. Like, that's why. There's no other reason why a song I had blew up. I was just there. No one else was there. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things for an artist, because you kind of have to work on it as you're working yourself as a brand, as a business. And in this day and age of social media, it's all about doing what the marketing strategists, what they do, how they run their business, and it's all about attention. So the theory is always like, you need to be there, you need to be everywhere. And it's funny because back in the day, the way you would get your music played is by being at every rave, every party, every house party. You would be there. DJ, yo, play my track. You'd be at all the places. They still do that, like in America, at every strip club. Play my music, throw some ones. And now it's just like we kind of have it really easy where we don't have to go anywhere. We just have to be online and make sure that we have the product. And I feel like with what you're doing, it's working really well, because I feel like every time I look up at your page, I'm seeing, oh, there's another track. Oh, okay, cool. And to me, I like that. And even like you mentioning about the Amazon charting thing, when you were posting that, you were like, yo, we're number 3. Wait, we're number 2. Yo, and it's like, oh shit, like stuff's happening. And to me, it's part of the story. It's like, I want to see where this story goes. And I think you did a really good job of capitalizing on that as well. Like, always celebrate the wins. Don't matter like how big, how small, you celebrate the wins. And I think you're doing a really good job at that.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's like, it's just insane, because I thought that I was just going to come out and just do the music in my bedroom and then that was it. It was just going to be for me. Everyone had forgotten about Abby. She's been gone for 5 years. Fuck Abby. And then I kind of come back and it's just, people are just, I don't know whether or not, I think my music is better than it was back then. Obviously I've matured and now I'm not stealing old hip hop beats. I can actually make original music. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, I just don't know. It's weird because I feel like I don't deserve it at the same time. It's like, why do I deserve it when I've been away for so long and then come back and after 5 minutes, all of this stuff is happening? but I'm just so grateful. Like even if I was like number 30 in the charts, I'm like, fucking hell, I'm in the charts.
Yeah,
Like I don't
yeah.
care what number I am in the charts. And I celebrated that the other day. I was still like number fucking 60 something. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Sick.
Like, so yeah, like I just, anytime that my music gets any recognition, I'm just so humbled and just appreciative of it, because it's just crazy. I don't know.
It's cool. It's cool to be humble, but you definitely do deserve it. And that's the thing to remember as well. Like, especially like in this game again, you get what you deserve, man. Like, whether it be good or bad, you, like, people say this to me all the time. Man, you should be bigger. No, I shouldn't be. Like, if I was supposed to be bigger, I would be bigger. I'm where I'm supposed to be for the work that I've put in. This is where I'm supposed to be. And again, it's like where you are at the moment. It's definitely something to be proud of, and like, not just because of the numbers, yeah, but the music is so good. Like, to me personally, I think you deserve to be much bigger, because I just feel like more people should hear the music. I remember I had when we restarted this show, I had Blizzard on my first show, and I was saying to him, like, when I first heard your album, I was a little bit upset because I'm like, nah, it's not big enough. And I felt the same with your project. I'm just like, nah, like, all right, cool, but everybody should be listening to this. And I'm not saying that other people don't deserve to have the views and the streams that they have, because they definitely do, but you also should definitely be need to be heard more. And I feel like you're moving in the right direction to definitely be on that path.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. I'm just trying to be like you, bro. I'm trying to be an advert. It's crazy.
I was actually thinking, yeah. So I listened to it, I'm like, yeah, you know what, man? Your voice would be sick for voiceovers, man. Yeah. Like,
look, send them my way, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, do that.
Sick. I got some couple of fingers in pies. I got a little thing working on it in the background, which is gonna be I mean, like, I got to start sharing this money, man. I can't have it all to myself. I've got to start giving it to the people. And I just feel like there's so many artists that just have like amazing voices that I feel like are really distinct. One of the things I'm always baffled, yeah, when I get jobs, and I'm always like, why did you choose me? Like, why you choose, like, Idris Elba is alive. Like, why do you not just get him for every single job?
You've got a very distinctive voice. You've got a very distinctive voice, and it works well, especially with the whiskey advert. That is quite smooth. You're just a smooth ass motherfucker.
That's
like,
I don't even drink whiskey. Like, I'm like, what? Wait, do you know what? Yeah, hold up. Do you know how deep this is? What's that guy's name? The guy from Peaky Blinders. The main dude, yeah. Yeah. So he did the read for what I wrote, yeah. So they came to me, can you write the thing? I wrote it. Then they went to him to read it. So I've got a copy of him reading my lyrics. Like, it is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And I'm like, why the hell do you not go with him? Like, are you crazy? And it's like, nah, we wanted it to sound like what you did. So I was just like, okay, cool. And I just feel like it is proper mad. But I feel like there's so many opportunities within our industry that crosses over, and especially when you're talking about in this environment as well, because we're about to hit a massive recession. So a lot, and when we can't do shows anymore, so a lot of the industry's taking a big hit. But one industry that's not taking a hit is the advertising industry, because they got money to burn. So I'm just like, there's definitely an opportunity here. So when I
just saw the Drea Mack one with Burberry's, and it's
crazy,
so good, and she's so amazing. I love her vibe so much. So that's just, it made me happy.
Yeah.
It made me happy to see it. It's just cool, man.
It is. I feel like it's a different age, and we're seeing a lot of UK artists reach heights that we never saw before.
Definitely.
And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Would you in the scene, yeah, like in music, do you ever think about like where you want to be as an artist? Like, I have a really vivid, solid idea of how big I want to be and what I want to sell, and I know when I hit that point, I'll be like, that's what I was aiming for. Do you have anything like that? Like, where you're looking, you're like, this is where I'm trying to get to, or you just happy to kill it?
I don't know. I'm kind of just happy at the moment, just kind of just doing my thing, because the thing with me is I'm not like, I'm not the most confident person compared to a lot of artists. Like, you guys will go to shows and love live shows and stuff. To me, that's the most terrifying experience of my life. Like, it's something that will have me on edge and having heart palpitations for like weeks before it even happens.
Yeah.
So I need to kind of get over that hurdle
Mm.
first and kind of have more kind of confidence doing stuff like that in front of people
Yeah.
instead of just kind of being in my little box right now where I'm happy by myself recording music
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. I need to kind of get out of that. But at the moment, I'm happy just doing that.
Yeah.
But I know eventually, if I do get bigger and I have a bigger audience, then eventually I'm gonna need to kind of come out of the house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to go to shows. I'm gonna need to show my face at things.
Mm.
But I guess I'm kind of just waiting for the point where people are gonna come and see me perform live because they've come to see me,
Yeah.
and not because I've come to just perform at an event
Yeah.
where no one knows who I am. Because that, to me, that's nerve-wracking, because I'm having to kind of prove to you who I am
Yep.
and prove to you that my music's good. But if you're already here to see me and you're a fan of mine, it'll put my mind at ease a bit,
Yeah.
because I know that you already like my music and you're a fan of mine, so I can kind of relax a little bit. So a show that I run where people are going to come and see me for me, I think that I'll be better with that. But until I get to that point, I think I'm just going to keep on building and work on the confidence thing and all that kind of stuff. But
It's funny you say that. So I stopped doing live shows like that probably 2 years ago, I think. So it started off, I was like, I'm not performing after midnight. And then promoters are still booking me. So I was like, okay, this isn't working. They're not getting a message. Then I doubled my price, and they were still doing it. Then I was just like,
Okay.
Then I just was like, I'm not doing shows. You cannot book me for a show anymore. And the reason why was exactly your point. Because I don't want to be in a club on a flyer. I don't want you to come and you're going to see, I don't know who you're going to see. You're going to see Gets or whatever. And I just happen to be there to spit a couple of songs. And to me, it doesn't help me grow as an artist either. Because I feel like when you're young, that's cool. You're coming up and you're just working on your craft, and you're working. And I take the live show really seriously. So I did spend a lot of time working on my craft. There was a point where I was doing shows at least once a week. And then there's been times when tour times where we're doing 3 shows a week for months. But what you just mentioned, I want to make 2 points here. Number one, if we weren't in COVID lockdown, you're already in a place where you're in a position to do your own, to put on your own shows. And that's the part that a lot of artists don't get, because you feel like, oh, but I need to be booked. No, you don't. All you need is a room. So one of the things I'm trying to do myself, and I've done twice now, with the help of some other promoters, is booking my own shows. So having it as number one, concert time. I ain't trying to come at 2, 3 in the morning to perform. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm too old for that shit. And like another thing as well, like me and my wife here, so we be at a show, and one of the things I hate, it's like, what time are you on? Oh, my set time is at 1. You're like, oh. And then you perform, and then you gotta go home, and you get home, it's like 3 in the morning. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be home at 10 o'clock. I want to be, the show's done, yeah? Like, okay, maybe not 10 o'clock, but 11 o'clock, midnight, please have me home.
Comfortable time.
Yeah. And when you're in charge, you can do that. You set your show time, so you set your room, and it might be a small room. One of the things I love is being able to do a show where it's just like 50 people. Like, that's amazing, because then it's like, it's really exclusive. We're only selling 50 tickets. You can't get any more tickets. We're only selling 50 tickets. The show time is 8 o'clock. You come straight from work. You have a drink. You come to the show. You might have maybe 1 or 2 support acts. Not doing a whole set, just a couple of songs. Then you do your hour. Boom. My songs that people know they like. Your songs, people that they love. They hear it. Buy some merch. Everyone goes home. And it's just, to me, that's how you really build. Not only do you build a fan base, a real support base, but you're building a business as well. You're putting yourself in a position where you can really, really grow with this. Yeah, I think that's definitely something you could do at where you are now, because you've got fans. You've got people that love your music.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would show up to it at this point. I don't know, because I have all of this mad stuff happening, but the weirdest thing about it all is it doesn't reflect on my social media. I don't even have 1,000 followers on Insta. I have just about 100 on Twitter because my old Twitter account got cancelled a couple of years ago, and I just didn't bother with it until recently. My Facebook, again, a couple of hundred. So it's just weird that all of these kind of things are happening. Even the Amazon thing. How am I on like 900 and something followers on Instagram, but then this happens? Like, so I don't know. It's a really weird one because you're trying to gauge how popular it really is based on these numbers, and you can't, because it's just that anomalies happen all the time.
And that's the thing as well. I think like a lot of artists get caught up in the social media numbers. Like social media numbers are fake. Like I don't even care. I have 25,000 followers on Twitter. There is no way on God's earth I could even get 1,000 people in the room. So I'm like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing? But I know for a fact that if I put an album out, I got at least 100 diehards, like at least 100 that I know they're gonna buy. Like I'm gonna sell 100 CDs. I can sell 100 CDs. I can do that. Or not. If not 100 CDs, I can do 50 CDs, but I can get 100 downloads from the album. I know I can do that. And then to me, that's how I gauge where I am. And that's more important. I was saying on the interview yesterday or day before with Icicle about there's so many artists that are caught up in the hype. They love the hype and like you're verified and all this stuff, and it's like that's all cute, that's cool, that's for people who love that kind of stuff. But as an artist who's taking it seriously and who's looking at it like, I want this to either be a full-time job at some point or at least a respectable side hustle, the only numbers you need to be looking at is really what are the sales, man, what are the actual downloads. If I put up a t-shirt or a hoodie, like who actually puts their hands in their pockets and buys? And that's how I gauge it. And I think even though your numbers, your social media numbers may be small, your actual support is your engagement level is super high. And that's all you need, the engagement. It doesn't matter how many people you have. If no one's really checking you, a lot of people, I feel for me, a lot of people just watch just to see what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if he's going to make it, but if he does, I was here the whole time, bro. Yeah, it's like, whatever. And I feel like, the level you have, the level of engagement you have is really high, man. And I think you're going to do sick. What I wanted to ask you actually though, where does the lack of confidence, where do you think that comes from? Because it's not from your performance as in an artist. Yeah. And I know where mine comes from. Mine comes from not having a good memory. So if I'm ever nervous,
that's it.
For real.
That's me. I'm telling
Serious?
you. It's memory. I am so shit. Like, that's why when all of these guys are asking me to do like freestyle shows, I'm like, bro, I can't remember. What do you mean? Like, I can't remember the fucking bars. Like, and it's not because. And then if I come out and try and do something and flop, they're gonna have me saying that I don't write my own bars and shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just seeing. I'm not gonna be a victim to my memory. So I'm just gonna avoid the situation. But yeah, it's my memory, bro. Because my fear is being on stage, and I could sit there and listen to the song 500 times before I perform it. Yeah. If I slip up once, that's it.
It's all good.
Up in front of everyone. Done out here. So yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you a secret. Yeah, there has never been a show that I have done in my life where I haven't messed up lyrics and had to freestyle. Really? One of the biggest shows I ever did in my life was Wembley 2016 in front of 10,000 people. Jumped on stage. I had to the verse I had to learn the day before. Yeah, like
Rap Game UK out here, man.
It's like, and I have the worst memory when it comes to bars for two reasons. Number one, I don't write lyrics down. I just rap. So I'm not gonna know what I said until I listen back to it. And most times I will write a song or just do my recording, boom, boom, boom. It will get sent off. I won't hear it again until it's released. And even then I'll just give it a one listen and be like, oh shit, that what I said, that's cold. And that's it. Yeah. I'll probably never listen to it again. And so I've jumped on stage and got like the first 4 bars and then lost it and just freestyled. Like, Wembley makes a note. That's it, man. Like, that's it. But How long does it take you to like say you got to memorize a 16? How long would that take you to memorize?
Jesus, I have no idea because I haven't attempted to do that in years. But I remember I did a cipher. I did two ciphers that were recorded and they're on YouTube
Yeah.
today, and I don't watch them. I don't like looking at it because it's just ridiculous. But I did one after a video shoot, and then one was one I actually had planned to go to, and I think it took me a good week to kind of just make sure that I knew it back to front. And then even then, when I was waiting for everyone else to go, I was losing what the bars were.
I hate that.
And because it was live and it was being recorded, there was live instruments, everything. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm next. And then I'm having to kind of recover bars from a song that I remember that I did last week or somewhere else. And I'm just like, shit. And these lot are all making it look effortless. Like, they've been fucking... And I'm just there like, okay, you know?
Do you know,
so
you say that, yeah, that's exactly me. And every time you see me live on any sort of show, that's always me. I did this thing for YouTube, and like, I remember being in the queue, and I'm like, right, what verse am I going to do? Okay, that verse, I got this verse in my head. And then getting there and just going, what's the first line?
yes.
Like, and then just starting a line and be like, that ain't even the verse I want to do. And then trying to that's literally me all the time, which is why I hate doing radio sets. And why I never do it, hardly ever do freestyles, why I still haven't done a fire in a booth to this day. All these ones.
That makes me feel so much better, do you know? Like, honestly, I get so embarrassed, and I'm sick of explaining myself at this point. I don't want to do it because I'm shit, okay? At the memory stuff, I can't do it. So to know that you are in the same boat with the memory thing makes me feel a lot better, trust me.
And there's guys like P Money, yeah, who can write a 64 and then just know it. Like, what? Yeah. Like, what? That's not fair. Like, that's a cheat code. Like,
yeah, it's incredible. It's crazy. It's incredible. I'm so jealous. Like, I'm so jealous of people that can do that. Like, you have no idea. Well, you do.
100%, man. I even got a book about, I got an audio book about memories, like how to improve your memory. Like, I'm actually going to try and do it because it's just, at this point, it's just getting stupid. And I'm never like, this is the thing as well. So I know myself, yeah, it will take me, if I need to learn a song, my 2 verses or whatever, I know I need a whole day to memorize that, and then I'll need a couple more days to kind of go over it, right?
Yeah.
But me, because of my personality, everything's last minute. So on the way to the show, I got this thing, I'll have it on repeat, going over and over and over it to the point where I hate the song. And then literally, as soon as I finish the show, I'm like, I am never ever listening to that ever again. And then it's a vicious cycle, man. But I don't learn. I feel
like once it's recorded though, it kind of sits a little bit better than if you just write it, but I'm still just trying to find a way. So if the audiobook works, please send it my way because I need help.
Trust me. Yeah, I'm on the it's the hunt for the holy grail to find out how to improve my memory. And everyone was like, man, you smoke too much weed. I'm like, I've never smoked weed in my life. I do not smoke. I do not know what it is. It's just a really bad memory.
Yeah, I don't know what mine is. I used to think it was diabetes. I have type 1 diabetes, so I used to just pretend. I was like, I'll just blame the diabetes. It's obviously that. I googled it one time and it said that it can affect your memory. I was like, that's the reason.
That's it.
Clearly, that's the only fucking reason. It's diabetes. But yeah, so I honestly have no idea. I just blame it on that.
That's crazy, man. Well, I want to thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. Your album's incredible. Home is where the start is. People, go get that, please. Go check it out if you haven't. Like, trust me, you'll be pleasantly surprised. And like, listen, if you're not pleasantly surprised, then boy, so you got something on your ears. So like, man, just thank you for doing this. Anyone you wanna?
Me on, man.
Come on, sis. You found me out here. Anyone you wanna shout out?
I want to shout out Sam, of course. I want to shout out Hennessy. I want to shout out Sixth Floor. I want to shout out White Boy Beats because those are all the guys that made my project sound how it sounded. I want to shout out my other engineer, Arjun, also my photographer and one of my best friends. When you forget someone and then you're like, shit, I'm sorry. I want to shout out my friends, my girls, my fiance Tanya, my parents, all that. My girls, Latrice, Sonia, all of them. If I've forgotten your name, I love you. My memory. Well, I was just talking about it, right? Man.
You say
So
blame the head,
blame
blame the
them.
head, not the heart, man. Blame the head, not the heart. That's what I say.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. What's that? That photo that you posted on Instagram, the one that I love, when you're like in the car, and it's like dark and
Oh
grainy.
yeah. You said it would be an album
That's
cover.
an album cover, man. That pic is so cold.
Yeah, that was on the way back from, I think, a date night. I think we went
Yeah.
out for dinner for her birthday or something. I was just there in a cab like trying to take a photo because she hates photos.
See,
And I was like, it's her birthday. Let me just get a slide photo, and I just got it. But yeah, it came out alright. It came out alright.
yeah, that's art, man. That's art. You need to get that. You need to get it up on the wall or something, man.
Yeah, man.
But
On the
yeah,
canvas.
yeah, man, 100%. But yeah, man, big you up. Stay on the line. I'm gonna say goodbye to the people, and I'll say goodbye to you properly.
No worries, bro.
Yo, so that was Abby Power. That was incredible. Incredible artist, incredible person. The album is incredible. The topics, the way everything is delivered, man, it's just so perfect. It's like it's a work of art. So please go check that. We will be back next week, probably. I said I was only gonna do this for lockdown. So we got like one more week of lockdown. But we might have, actually I shouldn't even say it, man, but we might have a special guest at the weekend, because this person was like, I can't do weekdays, and they were too big for me to turn down. So we might we might be having a special guest, but I can't give you any information. All I say is no lay. But anyway, guys, peace and love. I will catch you up next week. Bliss.